All right, our Daily fans, we are here with the one and only Richard Karn from Home Improvement. So great to have you here at Rhode Island Comic Con. How have you and your family been doing over the pandemic? How's everything going?
Oh my gosh, the pandemic. I was filming an episode of Pen 15 that's on the Hulu channel, and we had finished a scene, but we hadn't finished it. We did the opening part of it, and then we were going to come back and do different angles of the same shot. We went to lunch. When we came back, they said, well, we're closing down. Yeah. And a year and a half later, we started up. We did the second, third season, back to back, boom, boom. But I think I got a lot of things fixed.
Sure.
I'm walking around the house. I'm like, and I started cleaning. I went by room. I found stuff I hadn't looked at in years. I found a bottle of 30-year-old scotch that I had put away, and I go, oh my God, thank God I found this.
How did it taste?
Amazing. As a matter of fact, the cork had crumbled a little bit, so I had to strain it. But it was so good.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Tim Allen and Home Improvement back in 1989. What did that look like?
Yeah, that's a long time ago. It was actually 91. 1991. However, I met the producers, the creators of the show in like 87. 87 or 88. It was 86, 87. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and check that out because that's an important part of this story. But I had met them in Indiana doing a playwrights conference, the New Harmony Project in New Harmony, Indiana. And we became good friends. We had a great time. And my wife and I, we were still living in New York. So by the time we moved out to California in 90, they were working on a show with Carol Burnett. And I called them up. I said, hey, I'm in town. And they go, great. And they brought me in. Actually, they were really great. They brought me in to do one of the episodes. And I played it was an episode, the Carolyn Company was a bunch of skits again. And this one, she was a newscaster or whatever. And I was like a guy that cameraman or something like that. But, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Then I find out that these guys are casting a new show. So I called them. I said, you didn't call me. And they go, no, there's nothing in this show for you. We know you, we would have called you, but there's a neighbor that's, and we've cast everything, his assistant, there's just nothing in there for you. And I go, oh man, he says, but come in and meet our casting director. So I auditioned, I did the casting director thing. I made him laugh. And, a couple weeks later, Carmen Finestra calls me up and goes, hey, Rick, you still got that beard? And I go, I do. He says, well, we might need you for the pilot. I go, what do you mean you might need me? He says, well, Stephen Tobolowsky got a movie and he can't do the pilot. And I go, I'm there. He says, well, now you understand, if the show gets picked up, we're going with Stephen because we've cast him and we want that difference. He was older than Tim. He was taller. They wanted a difference between the two characters. And I'm, in their minds, I was so much like Tim until you put us on tape. And then we go in different directions. But I got to do the pilot because of that. And I swear to God, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And the whole time I'm lamenting the fact, oh man, they're going to have a great time. This is a good show. I didn't know what being on a really good show meant. For me, doing theater before that was all just, you did it for 3 weeks to a couple of months and then you moved on. 8 years on one show was a blessing.
It's, you two were one of the most iconic comedy duos ever. It's hard to imagine anyone else doing that role but you.
And we do, you don't really know that. You don't understand what that means until you get in front of an audience and they haven't seen the show. This is before the show airs and we've done 4 or 5 episodes. And so the relationship between these two characters are growing in front of the writers. And they see where it can go. And at one point they went, this is working. God bless Stephen. He got that movie and he never stopped working. But we got to create the characters with the audience's help.
So you went into game shows and now you tell us a little bit about that. Like what drew you to that genre?
That was so weird. Doing a game show was not in my playbook, but I had done one the year before Family Feud happened. I did the pilot of To Tell the Truth with John O'Hurley was the host. I know, small world. And I was like one of the panelists, me and Paula Poundstone and a couple of other people. And they called me up and they said, "Hey, it's going to be picked up. We're going to do it. Would you like to go along with it?" And I went, I don't think I do. I loved doing the pilot, but I'd rather not do a game show. And like a year later, they called me up and said, "Would you like to host one?" And I go, "What?" He said, "Well, we're replacing Louis Anderson on Family Feud." And I go, "Really?" I don't, and I resisted it. And then my agent goes, "Rick, this is another family entertainment. You've done family movies, you did a family TV show. This is like a family." And once I was in, I was all in. I went, "Okay, all right, let's do this." I didn't know I could do it because you don't, a game show is it's a whole nother thing that I wasn't cognizant of preparing for. So you either can do it or you can't. And I jumped in with both feet and had a great time.
And so you most recently reunited with Tim Allen for Assembly Required, which kind of combined sort of like a new tool time with kind of your game show background. So kind of tell me a little bit about what that was like.
Just happened to have a picture. That's us, doing the show. That was fun. It's like Tim and I, we kind of fell into our old ways, but we're older. We're not Tim and Al anymore. We're Tim and Rick, which is a little different dynamic. But I still, fall into that, Tim just loves to go off, and I kind of reel him in, because it's so funny because he'll ask a guy a question. It's just, "So tell me, what do you think about this?" And then he goes, "I'm asking that because yada, yada." 5 minutes later, I go, "Tim, let him ask the question. You asked him a question and let him answer it." So that is my job for life.
I have to ask, did you come up with the line, "I don't think so, Tim"?
The writers came up with that line, but it wasn't going to be anything, unusual. That was part of having the audience tell us who we are. Yeah. There was a point where the writers wrote a joke for Tim. "Hey Al, do you think they call it molding because it's been in the refrigerator too long?" And I knew, that was a joke. I was going to let him have that laugh, let the audience laugh. And I just didn't do anything. I wasn't going to upstage him. I wasn't going to jump on his line. I just looked at him. And right before I'm about to say something, the audience laughs again. And I went, "Oh, that's interesting. That's a relationship thing I wasn't working toward." And then I went, "I don't think so, Tim." And that got a laugh. And that's when the writers went, "We see these characters. We know how to write for these characters. We know who they are. This is good. We're keeping you."
I mean, it has such a legacy. I've used your GIF so many times to respond to people on Facebook of you just saying, "I don't think so, Tim." So it holds up.
Yeah.
What are you working on now? Where can your fans find you, look for you, TV, the internet?
Well, Tim and I are doing the second season of Assembly Required, which will be called More Power. I'm doing a show on Hulu called Pen 15, which if you read what that says, you'll know that it's seventh grade humor. And the two women that star in it are amazing. They've been nominated for Emmys for writing. It's a really fun show. And I play one of the dads.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Richard. And best of luck with the new projects. And enjoy your time here in Rhode Island.
Thank you. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.